Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10 Minute Torah, and we're on part 3, Chayei. So let us go to chapter number 24 and realize that now that Sarah has been buried and that issue has been resolved, Abraham is beginning to think about the future. He has his son Yitzhak, and Yitzhak needs a bride. It says that Yah had blessed Abraham in everything. The word there in Hebrew, bakol, spelled Beit, Kaf, and Lamed. The numerical value of those letters equals 52, which just so happens to also equal the numerical value of the word ben, or son. So in everything, Abraham had been blessed. That is, in his son Yitzhak. Everything that he accumulated, everything that he had learned, all the relationship with Yah that he had walked in, the situation that he lived in as both Agar and Toshav, as we talked about in the last segment, all of that was now being conferred upon Yitzhak. It had all been worked up for him. But Yitzhak needs to be able to reproduce himself and another generation in order that a nation can ultimately be birthed. For that purpose, then, he needs a bride. So Yitzhak, in many ways, is a type of the Mashiach, the Messiah, who is the heir of all things. Everything that the Father has accumulated, if you want to use that term, has created, everything that has been taking place through the courses of history to this point, it's all for Yeshua. By him, all things were created. Through him, all things were created. And for him, all things have been created. So the goal is for the Mashiach, Yeshua, to obtain a bride from which to build his kingdom. Now, Abraham, in seeking a bride for Yitzhak, is a picture of Yah then seeking for a bride for Messiah. I referred in the last segment to Sarah being a type of the bride. Rivka is even a better version, a better picture of the bride. And when Rivka enters into the picture in this chapter, then we recognize that Sarah is even more so a picture of the Shekinah, the light and the glory, the manifested presence of the Most High. For it's in her tent and her presence that the bride is brought and becomes the bride of the Mashiach. It is needed then that the Shekinah be the model for which the bride is to be taken. Now, Abraham says, do not go into the neighboring peoples here, for they are of a cursed lineage. They are idolatrous. They are completely given over to paganism. Do not go and bring a bride from there, but go back to my people. Now, it's not that the people in Aram at this point were any better in some regards, but it was from this location that we find Babylon is in existence. And it is a picture from Revelation 18 and verse 4 in reference to Babylon, come out of her, my people. The bride of Mashiach is not born spotless and is without issues. When you study the home life of Rivka, there were some things going on there. Her brother Lavan was quite a character. They seemed to be a pretty greedy bunch. She had some things going on, yet she had a heart that was willing to hear of the plan of the Messiah, forsake all, and come and be his bride. Now, the servant is sent to find this bride, and he takes all his master's goods in his hand. Now, how in the world did he do that? He's riding on 10 camels, but certainly he's not leading all the flocks, the herds, taking all the servants, the tents, the gold, the silver, all of that with him. No, it's written in a title deed. So that when the servant of Abraham comes, he has the title deed that he can unfold or roll out like a scroll and begin to read from and say, the bride that I'm looking for, her husband holds title deed to all these things. That's the purpose of the reading of the Torah. It is to reveal to us not only who the Mashiach is, but all that he is an heir to. Now, this is also important in regards to, if you remember from the last segment, Abraham needed to obtain a title deed for the land. The prophet Jeremiah, was told, even in the face of an invading army coming and taking possession of the land, buy a piece of land and have it legally transacted and get a title deed. Because this is significant for Yirmiyahu in that even though the land's going to be taken, it's going to be restored. And there is a parcel of land. You may lay claim to it, someone else may lay claim to it, but it belongs to the prophet Yirmiyahu because he holds title deed to it. When we go to the book of Revelation, chapter 5 and chapter 6, the issue that is described there is this scroll that is held in the Most High's hand, sealed with 7 seals, and each time a seal is unloosed, there is a resulting consequence that takes place in the heavens or in the earth. Now, there can be a lot of debate as to what this scroll is, but among those items listed in its potential meaning is that it is the title deed to the earth. And once the title deed has been unfurled and read from, and all that is declared in it has come to pass, then the kingdom can come to the earth, because it says in, chapter number 11, verse 15, and the 7th messenger sounded, and there came to be loud voices in the heavens saying, the reign of this world has become the reign of our master and of his Messiah, and he shall reign forever and ever. So there has to be legal transaction for Yeshua to come and possess the earth and to rule over it as master and as king. Then we have this interesting picture. The servant rides on 10 camels. Now, I was taught early on when we first got into Hebraic roots that anytime you see the number 10, look to see if there is a connection between that number 10 and the 10 tribes. How can 10 tribes of northern Israel be related to 10 camels? Well, let's understand this. 10 camels representing Ephraim come to where the bride is located, come seeking the bride. They kneel. And this is the hard part to make the analogy. Ephraim humbling themselves. But if Ephraim will humble themselves and kneel in humility, that is an appoise of servanthood outside the city. This is not outside Jerusalem or Jerusalem. No, this is outside Babylon, where the bride is found by a well of water. Over and over again, the scriptures reveal the bride being found at a well of water. And Yochanan, or John chapter number 4, Yeshua finds a woman who typifies the bride in many respects outside the city at a well of water, where he offers to her the waters of redemption and restoration, renewed life outside the city walls of Babylon. The servants of Yah and Ephraim kneeling down, serving, and it says that they did so at evening time, or the beginning of the new day of Messiah. Maybe the analogy fits. You take that, work it out, and see what you come up with. Until the next segment comes, shalom. Thank you for joining me.